and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you to this beautiful and wonderful evening today. My name is Priyanka, and I am the India representative of University of Missouri St. Louis. MSM is grateful to University of Missouri St. Louis and to Miss Ashley for the wholehearted support for this event today. Before we start with the presentation for today and with the most knowledgeable session about University of Missouri St. Louis, I would like to share a few of the housekeeping rules with you. So if we talk about housekeeping, the things which you can make use of during the time of our presentation. So the first thing is that if you face any technical concern, maybe you're not able to hear us properly, or there is any video concerns or anything, then please make use of the chat box. You will find the chat box in the control panel below. At the end of the presentation, we will have question and answers round, and I'm sure you will have a lot of questions to be asked. So you can make use of Q&A section, the Q&A section in the control panel to ask the question and answer. So I repeat, for technical concerns, please make use of the chat box, and for question and answers, you can make use of the Q&A section. Now, another very interesting part about our presentation is that we will have two polls in between the presentation. So I would request everybody to participate in that, and it is going to be quite interesting. So you will enjoy that. Now, I'll not take much of your time, and I'll introduce you to Miss Ashley Keegan, who is the Recruiter and International Admissions Coordinator from University of Missouri St. Louis. So over to you, Ashley. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. So right off the bat, I just want to give a huge thank you to our amazing partners at MSM for teaming up with UMSL and putting together this opportunity to be able to meet with all of you guys virtually and talk to you a little bit about the University of Missouri St. Louis. So another big thanks to you guys all for attending today. It really means a lot. Any chance to connect, these days in whatever method, all the Zoom calls. So it really does mean a lot, and it's a great opportunity to be able to connect. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy that you're all here. That being said, I think I'll go ahead and start explaining a little bit more about University of Missouri St. Louis, a little bit about our programs, and a bit more about where we are, the city of St. Louis, Missouri. So before I get into that then, I know at the forefront of all of our minds would be the COVID-19 pandemic. Everyone in every corner of the world is kind of dealing with their own situation. What do things look like here? What do things look like there? So before I get into more specifically about the university, I'll talk to you a little bit about what COVID-19 is looking like at the minute right now in Missouri. So at the minute, we are in a shelter-in-place order under Governor Mike Parson that is set to be lifted on May 3rd. In terms of whether that's going to be extended or if that's going to be when it's lifted, we're just taking it day by day and seeing what the news says. There have been a number of reported cases in the area. However, as a reaction, St. Louis is converting most places for working remotely as much as you can, and keeping only essential businesses open, essential workers out, and practicing social distancing. So reacting in many ways just as the rest of the world is. There are a couple ways that University of Missouri St. Louis is teaming up with our city to react to COVID-19. One of those ways is going to be the Regional Data Alliance. Now, this is going to be housed in our Community Innovation and Action Center. And what this essentially is it's a way for our community to know what is going on with COVID-19. It's a dashboard for information that you can trust. It's reliable from credible sources. So really, it's a one-stop shop for our community to be able to visit this and know what is happening in our community. So it's very helpful. So a little bit about how we reacted to it. Like many universities around the world, around the country, we did make the transition to remote teaching and learning. We started this on March 16th, and this is going to continue through the remainder of our semester. We have moved our summer courses to online instruction. So international students, since all of this has happened, have been welcome to remain in their accommodation on campus. So there's been no pressure for any of our students to have to leave if that's not what they wanted to do. They still have the resources available to them in their accommodations. For admissions requirements, we now are taking the Duolingo English exam as proof of English proficiency, because I know, with a lot of testing centers not being available or having to postpone, I know that kind of threw a wrench in some students' plans. So Duolingo has been something that students can use now. It's a test that you can take at home and send on to us. We did waive our GRE or GMAT requirements for fall 2020 for the Masters of Information Systems and Technology and the MBA. That being said, International Student Services has stayed just as busy, working remotely, making sure that despite wherever they're working from, they are working hard to help the international student community at UMSL, whether that is hosting virtual activities for students, still having that opportunity to stay socialized, stay connected with their peers, and then also workshops and webinars where our international student officers are hosting to make sure that our students are informed and they know what resources are going to be available to them. So as of now, for fall 2020, there have been no changes to what our fall semester is going to look like. However, we know that we do need to have a plan in place for, if things change in the coming months and, what happens with US embassies and consulates. So as a result, we are preparing for the scenarios where students, if they need to begin their degrees online, that's what the plan could be. So undergraduate students who have been admitted to a program in the College of Arts and Sciences or the College of Business are going to be able to start their programs online. Academic advising is going to be available just as normal over Zoom. That being said, we do have a couple options now for our master students in computer science and information systems. So one option, one scenario a student might find themselves in is the student starts the program online and they complete the program on campus once they are able to get their visa and travel to campus. Another scenario, if the student starts the program online and is denied a visa, they can start and then complete the program from home online. However, as they wouldn't be an F1 student on the F1 visa, they would not be able to avail of CPT or OPT. Now then a third scenario, a student starts the program but decides they don't wish to continue. They do have the option to front load certain electives so that they are able to obtain a graduate certificate after roughly 18 hours. Now this student would not be eligible for an F1 visa as graduate certificates are not supported on that visa type. But those are just a couple of the options that we have so far. And, as things are updated, those announcements are going to continue to be made. So another way that our campus is continuing to work with our international student population is Student Academic Support Services has moved all of their workshops and academic advising appointments online. So still connecting with students over Zoom, having workshops, having drop-in sessions. There still is even tutoring opportunities on weekend hours. So students can still have all the academic support that they're going to need. Another really cool thing, so our students, as amazing as they are, continuing to have an impact on their community. So one such example is one of our PMBA students. So Mayank has been so incredible with what he's accomplished here. So his wife actually is a physician. So he found the issue of, having enough personal protective equipment for our healthcare workers, particularly dear to his heart with his wife being in the medical field. So he took it upon himself to gather a group of volunteers and made it so that they were able to distribute a supply of PPE to St. Louis hospitals. So that's something that we are really proud of. We love seeing our students making these kinds of accomplishments. So that being said, with a quick COVID-19 rundown then, a little bit about our city, where we're located. So we're going to be right here in the American Midwest. I'm going to have all 4 seasons, so it looks a little bit different throughout the year, which I think is always fun. So I'll tell you, excuse me here. So I will show you then a little video about St. Louis. This is by Explore St. Louis, just to give you an idea of what our city is going to be like. So that being said, so, there is a lot to do in St. Louis. It's one of the 20 largest metropolitan areas in the United States. So it's going to have that fun big city feel with lots to do and lots of opportunity. However, we are going to be that kind of sweet spot where we have that sense of community too. We are going to have the lowest cost of living out of those 20 largest metropolitan cities, which is always going to be a huge draw. We have our own light rail system called the MetroLink. So students get their very own MetroLink pass for free. So we have a stop on North Campus and South Campus, and students can jump on this and take that downtown or to Del Mar Loop or the airport. So that's great to have, as well as our ride sharing apps like Uber and Lyft. And then, of course, American Friends with Cars. So lots of different ways to get around. We are going to absolutely be a global city. So we have lots to do throughout the year, lots of different cultural events and holidays that are celebrated in our city. We are also a very international friendly city. We have the third fastest growing foreign-born population in St. Louis, and we also have an organization called the Mosaic Project. And this is going to be an organization that exists to assist the foreign-born community, whether that's a new permanent resident or refugee, international student, with opportunities of all different kinds, whether that is a socialization experience or get to know your city workshops or professional networking opportunities. Being a global city and having so many different cultures present in St. Louis, we do have a very strong Indian community as well. And our students tell us that they appreciate this because when you're an international student and you leave home, it's fun to have that new and exciting experience in another country, but a little twinge of homesickness every now and again is inevitable, and our students do tell us that they can feel connected to home in our city when they need it. And that's reflected in a couple different ways. We have the India Association of St. Louis, community centers like the Mahatma Gandhi Center, even cricket leagues, Indian holidays that are celebrated throughout the year. We also have, the grocery stores where you can get all the essential, unique ingredients, plenty of restaurants for a good, proper dinner. Even a movie theater where, students can go and catch Indian movies, new releases and all that. So apart from this, St. Louis is absolutely, as you can see from the video, entrepreneurial hotspot, lots of different industries that are really taking flight here in our city. So we are going to have a collection of research institutes and innovation centers, business incubators that really are bringing in professionals from different fields to our city. We have 14 Fortune 1000 companies that are headquartered here in the St. Louis area. We have a technology innovation hub located downtown called the Cortex Innovation Community. We have the Donald Danforth Plant and Science Center, which has actually interacted with our UMSL biology department pretty frequently. So has the St. Louis Zoo, and so has the Missouri Botanical Gardens. So we do have that really cool, relationship with our city, where our students are able to take classroom experiences and theories and apply them outside of the classroom as well. We have the Grand Center Arts District, and that's going to be where our museums, galleries, music venues, cultural organizations, as well as the radio station, St. Louis radio station, which is owned by UMSL. So our communication students are going to find that they will have the opportunity to have a class in the radio station downtown. So that's really neat too. So in St. Louis, we're going to have a number of conferences hosted throughout the year that bring professionals from all fields to our city. One being the Midwest Digital Marketing Conference, and that's going to be located downtown, founded by one of our very own professors, Dr. Drake, bringing in media professionals from, say, LinkedIn, BuzzFeed, Facebook, Instagram. So it's a really cool opportunity. St. Louis CyberCon is going to be a conference hosted on our campus, and that's going to be hosted by our computer science, information systems, cybersecurity faculty, and not only is it a major nationwide conference, but it's also a career fair. So our students are encouraged to attend this conference and come prepared to talk about their skills and market themselves to potential employers. And then as well in the Cortex Innovation Community, we have what's called the Venture Cafe, so students can come here and have opportunities to network with other professionals or attend speaker sessions. As I was saying, we do have that relationship with our community. Another example of this being the Ameren Corporation. So the CEO is this gentleman pictured here. He is an UMSL alum. And with that relationship, that connection, that's turned into a unique internship opportunity for UMSL students, where the Ameren Corporation will pair what's called an UMSL Accelerate intern with a startup company. So that's a really cool opportunity we have for students as well. That being said, then, so a little bit about us. We are the largest public research university in Eastern Missouri. We are ranked in the top 6% of universities worldwide, according to the Center for World University Rankings. We have a 19-to-1 faculty-student ratio, so that essentially is going to be one of our major hallmarks about the UMSL education experience, knowing your professors and your professors knowing you, and having that relationship to really make the most out of the experience. We have multiple on-campus housing options, dorm style, apartment style, and as I mentioned, the International Student Services team, which works very hard to put on events for our international students and to host them and to answer any questions from A to Z that the international student might have, whether that's visa, CBT, OPT. They host a number of workshops and are always available for appointments. And then we have our career services office, which is going to be great for getting students ready for what happens after UMSL, getting you ready for that next step. So that's resume building, cover letters, mock interviews, as well as 2 major campus career fairs in the spring and the fall, where we have employers coming to UMSL specifically looking for students with the UMSL education, as well as the Honors College for undergraduates, where if they choose to be a part of the Honors College, that's an opportunity to have a little bit of independent research in your undergraduate program. So a few things about UMSL, a few pride points, why we're proud to be UMSL. We have dual AACSB accreditation in business and accounting. That's actually an achievement that not many business schools worldwide have achieved. It's fewer than 2% actually. UMSL's International Undergraduate Business Program has been ranked in the top 25 nationally for 17 consecutive years. We are a national center for academic excellence in cyber defense education. And our criminology and criminal justice program has been ranked 5th best in the nation. We touched on the Amarin Accelerator a little bit already, but a little bit about, our campus diversity. We enroll 16,000 students, and these students are coming from all over the United States, all 50 states, and as well as 65 different countries. So that diversity on campus is something that we get really excited about, and we think it's what makes a campus experience even more exciting and all that much better. Finally, one thing I want to share is that 94% of UMSL's most recent graduates are employed, or they're volunteering, or they're continuing in higher ed after they're through with their program at UMSL. So again, that just goes to show that we do greatly value the UMSL education and what our students get out of it, but we also immensely value what happens after and making sure our students get to the next step after their UMSL education. Now, with that being said, I'm going to pass things on to Priyanka. We do have a little spot open now for a poll.
Thank you, Ashley. So the most interesting part, polls time. So here we are launching the polls. So these are the few questions which you must have gone through the presentation, you must have heard in the presentation. So UMSL has dual AACSB accreditation in business and accounting, an achievement shared by fewer than how many percentage of business schools in the world? So I can see a lot of people are already answering. And the second question goes is, more than how much of UMSL most recent graduates are employed, volunteering, or continuing in higher education or post-graduation? Third question goes, UMSL enrolls more than how many students from all the 50 states and over 65 countries of the world? So I can see a lot of people are already answering, and we will be sharing the results in next 15 seconds or so that you'll get to know that how many of you were correct in their answers. Great. So now let's share the results.
All right, here we go.
Okay. So 43% of the people, they were correct that it's 2% that UMSL is amongst 2% of the institution who has achieved the AACSB accreditation. And we have got dual accreditation of AACSB. So only 2% of the institutions have earned it. Now, the second question, we have 57% of the people were absolutely correct that 94% of our graduates, they either get employment or they continue their education into higher education or post-graduation. So yes, 58% of the people were correct that 16,000 students is what we enroll every year from around 65 countries, and 50 states of the USA. So thank you all. Thank you for participating in the poll, and we will have another one very soon. So over to you, Ashley. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. All right, so next, I think I'd like to demonstrate a little bit about the international student experience at UMSL, but what better way to do that than letting our students tell you for themselves. So this video that I'm about to share with you is really special to us because it was actually put together by UMSL students. This video was made in our Intro to Social Media Marketing class in the College of Business, and they were so kind as to share it with us, with it being so relevant to our office. So I'll go ahead and play this for you here now.
大家好，我叫宋新瑶，我来自中国。
Namaste, namer Manoj.
Namaste, मेरा नाम आशमा हो。
大家好，我叫黄宇翰，我来自中国。
Molomeleni na kila kalavuka。
你好，我的名字叫杨康，我来自中国。
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 고호열이고요. 엄슬에서 공부 중입니다.
Hello, मेरा नाम प्राची है.
Well, my first concern was language barrier. You know, English is my second language.
All the staff and advisor, I mean the professor, they are all very friendly and patiently to us, and you don't need to worry about everything, and they will help you all the time and support you.
My first impression, this campus is so amazing.
Yeah, and my first impression, it was great actually. My first day, the orientation day, everyone was so welcoming and I had a very good time. I forgot I was away from home.
My first impression was, wow, UMSL has a really huge campus.
Because I live in the Meadows, the officer say welcome to our Meadows, and if you need any help, please call me.
I participate in different events, which helped me to open up with them, and they don't treat you like different people or different people from a different part of the world or something. But yeah, that was the main thing, helped me to open up with them. I was able to go into the Grace Hopper conference, which happened in Orlando, and where we celebrated women in technology. So it was a big opportunity for me because I got to introduce with different people from different companies. If you have certain opportunities like going to the conference and all of that, make sure you go for it. Don't be like, no, I'm scared or anything. You don't have to be scared. You need to take that opportunity, go for it, and you will learn a lot.
Participating in organizations, club organizations, and also the advantage of having a small student to teacher ratio, that kind of helped.
I think my professors were very, very supportive. They were understanding. They gave me one-to-one tutor hours. They actually helped me with my personal problems as well. They were always there to listen to me.
There are many events that you can participate in. Triton pantries, rec center events. Everyone, will welcome you. And that's the best way to broaden your social life.
I like the classes. You can choose acting in camera, or you can choose animation, lesson. They are very interesting classes.
English, you can learn some more knowledge and give you some more international opportunity. You can seek a better life, a better job, and that's why the reason I recommend UMSL.
Don't think too much. Just come over here. You're gonna have a good time, and this is a very diverse university. I personally have so many friends from almost all over the world at the moment. So just come over. It's gonna be fun.
UMSL is a diverse school. You will see different people from different parts of the world, and there are a bunch of different opportunities. So make sure you grab them and just go for it.
It's cheap, it's fun, and it's going to change your life.
I would say go for it. Come on board. There's so many new friendships waiting for you. There's so much to learn here, and these will be the best 4 years of your life.
There are a lot of opportunity for you, including internship and job fair and so on.
We transform lives, and we have serious education, serious value, and go Tritons.
All right. So that, we love seeing that video. We're so proud of our media students for putting that together. But that's just, a taste of the UMSL international experience in the words of some of our own students. So from there now, I think I'll branch into a little bit about, our programs, what we have on offer. So we're broken into several academic units. So arts and sciences, business administration, education, nursing, social work, as well as a joint engineering undergraduate program with a private university called Washington University of St. Louis. So in the College of Arts and Sciences, we do offer a bachelor's, master's, doctoral degrees in a number of different departments. I will say that economics at UMSL is a STEM designated program. So, if a student is looking for an economics degree, if they do it at UMSL, it's going to come with those additional OPT incentives that come with a STEM designated major. So one of the programs that I'll touch on quickly is because some of these programs tend to be asked about the most. So for computer science, we are looking for, at the undergraduate, I'll get into admissions requirements for undergraduates in a few slides because they're uniform. It's only at the master's levels that, admissions requirements are going to be individual. So for computer science, the GRE is not required unless the student is looking to apply for an assistantship. So other than that, it's just going to be proof of English proficiency, a background in computer science, and whether they can demonstrate that academically or professionally, and having the GPA. We're looking for a minimum of a 3.0 out of a 4.0 scale, but there is no GRE requirement for our computer science. Biochemistry and biotechnology at the master's level is interesting because you have the biochemistry and biotechnology MS, but you can also choose to do it through the professional science track. So that's going to be incorporating electives with law and business to prepare students to be, on the industrial side of the industry. So that, that's seeing yourselves as sort of running everything. So, for this, as we mentioned, we're going to be looking for a couple prerequisite courses: genetics, cell biology, biochemistry, chemistry. The GRE is being phased out. So students can apply for this for fall 2020 without the GRE. It's not mandatory, it's optional. As well as proof of English proficiency, and then, of course, the recommended minimum GPA being 3.0. For chemistry, this is going to be another master's degree where the GRE is not required, looking up for a chemistry kind of background in their undergrad and proof of English proficiency as well. So we touched on the joint engineering program a little bit. So what this is, it's the University of Missouri St. Louis jointly offering an undergraduate engineering degree with Washington University of St. Louis. So that's going to be a private university nearby. So this is an UMSL degree. Students, pay UMSL tuition, and their first 2 years of classes are going to be primarily on UMSL. But they get to, it's really a dual campus experience because students take their upper level engineering courses at Washington University. And those courses are going to be in the weekends and on the evenings because at that point in time, students will be doing a co-op with an engineering firm in the city. We offer the BS in civil engineering, electrical, and mechanical. It is accredited by the Engineering Accreditation Commission of ABET. And this program out of schools that don't offer an engineering PhD track are ranked in the top 100 best undergraduate engineering programs. So in business administration, we have a number of programs that get asked about the most. As we mentioned, international business is one of our programs that, would be recognized internationally. So I'll explain a little bit more about some of our programs. So information systems and technology, this is going to be one where the GRE was required, but with so many burdens being put on students, and with fall 2020 being impacted by COVID-19, this is a reminder that the GMAT or GRE requirement for this for fall 2020 is waived. So it would just be proof of English proficiency and having completed your undergraduate and submitting your transcripts. For cybersecurity, this is a cool option at the master's level because there's 2 different tracks. One of them, if you pursue it from the information systems emphasis, it's going to be setting you up for, approaching things with more of like a business, more of like a law sort of background, and being able to approach this industry from maybe more of a managerial aspect. Whereas if you choose the computer science emphasis, it's going to be more on the technological side of things. So there is no GRE GMAT requirement for these either. It's just the same situation for computer science emphasis. If students want to apply for an assistantship, that's when the GRE would be required. So admissions requirements, we touched on the undergraduates. So we're always going to be looking for a 2.3 on a 4.0 GPA. We're going to be looking for a 5.5 IELTS minimum, 61 TOEFL, 44 PTEA. We did say that Duolingo is now an option for fall 2020. Well, it's now an option in general. For undergrads, we'd be looking for an 85-90. So for graduates, we have a recommended minimum in place, and that's because, we have a general idea of what our graduate program directors are needing for their applicants. However, if a student might have a really, really strong application, but maybe like a 6.0 IELTS, it's, the graduate program director might still make the decision that the student would do well here in the program and would be a strong candidate and would still decide to admit the students. That's why we say recommended minimums. And then the recommended minimum for Duolingo would be 105, 110. So a little bit about the application process. So it's going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to be, you can do an online application. There is no application fee for fall 2020. So that's great too. It doesn't cost students anything to apply. So students for undergrad would go on, fill in the application, and they would upload, their transcripts. They would upload and their English proficiency test scores, anything like that. And then at the end, when they submit, they get a unique application ID number. So the process for that then is, the students' counselors or agents would be getting in touch with our UMSL MSM representative, Priyanka. So I think there's going to be an email coming in the chat there for you guys to be able to have a look at. But so once you get that unique application ID number, passing that on to our UMSL MSM representative is the next step. So that's how, when the student is done, that's how it gets communicated that we need to go in and waive the fee and start evaluating the application. So that's how that process is going to look. And then once the application has been completed, we have all the materials, we've been sent the application ID number, we know it's ready to go. Undergraduates will get a decision in a week's time. So for graduates, it's going to be the same exact procedure, online, except there just might be a few other materials they'll need to upload. So whether it's letters of recommendation or a CV or a statement of purpose, and those requirements are all going to be online. So students will be able to see what exactly they need for their application to be done. So again, submitting, having that unique application ID number, sending it to the UMSL MSM representative, and then graduates would probably take about 12 to 15 business days turnaround time, because the graduate program director is the person making the final decision. So they need some time to see the application, and then they let us know the decision. So that's why it's a little bit longer than undergrads. So we do have here on a little bit of an application timeline. So for undergraduates looking for a spring start, November 1st would be the deadline. For undergraduates looking for a fall start, that'd be a June 1st deadline. Graduates tend to be fairly the same. However, if there is a program, some of them might have earlier deadlines, and those you see here on the screen. And if they are, then that's going to be, stated on their website. So it would be known if it is an earlier deadline. Most of our programs now are for fall for graduates are going to be closing on May 1st. So little update on that. So a little bit on tuition now. So the way that, so what I have here for you is the amount that students are being required to show evidence of funds for to receive their I-20s for fall. So this shows the minimum 24 credit hours necessary to be considered a full-time student. We will say that, students who are awarded a scholarship are required to take 30 credit hours. And if you're looking to be finished with an undergraduate degree in 4 years, you're going to want to take 30 credit hours. That's just something we want to make note of there. You know, if students are asking about, you know, how many credit hours am I taking to finish in 4 years? And then we have here an estimation of living expenses. And of course, those are going to be on a case-by-case basis. You know, where do students choose to live? What's their cost of living like in general? So that fee is what we require for the I-20. That fee is not actually going to be what students are paying, because it's going to be, you know, on a case-by-case, it's going to be situational to them. Students aren't billed for tuition until they register and arrive to campus as well. So I have a similar breakdown here for graduate students. So this is going to be, you know, for 18 credit hours, which is going to be the standard for graduate students per year. Most graduate degree programs are going to be a minimum of 30 credit hours. So sort of the rule of thumb, you know, most students are taking 18 credit hours one year, 18 credit hours the next, and then completing their degree with 36 credit hours. So that's going to be a breakdown here. Again, living expenses being situational, giving you the I-20 total here at the bottom. So with that being said, we do offer exclusive scholarship opportunities for international students. Undergraduates could be receiving up to $14,000 a year. Graduates could be receiving up to $6,000 a year, as well as the opportunity for graduate assistantships. So I have a little breakdown for you here. So the scholarships are going to be based on GPA. So however high a student's GPA turns out to be is going to determine how much they could be eligible to receive. We do have a priority, you know, first look kind of calendar. All that means, so if students aren't admitted before the priority deadline, that does not mean at all that they're not going to be considered for scholarships. All it means is that, you know, they're going to find out in the second scholarship cycle. So the first scholarship cycle, students are going to learn if they were awarded a scholarship around late February, early March. Second cycle, they're going to know around like May. And then, of course, you know, there is the late decision case-by-case basis too. So that's just what that whole timeline kind of looks like. So now that we've went over a few admissions topics and all that, I'll throw this on to Priyanka now, and I think we do have another opportunity for some polls.
Great. Thank you, Ashley. Now we'll proceed and share the polls, and let's see how many are going to give us the correct answers. So the first question is, rate the audio and video quality of this webinar. Your feedback will be highly appreciated for us to improve on this. Second question is, what are the GPA requirements to get admitted for an undergraduate program? I can see a lot of people are answering. What is the scholarships award offered for the undergraduate program? Oh wow, many people are participating. So thank you everybody for your active participation in the polls. This actually let us know that you are enjoying the presentation and the session with us. So we will be closing off the polls in next 15 seconds. So whosoever has not participated till now, so please do it so that we can close the poll in next few seconds. Now 5 seconds more is what we will be closing our polls. Now let's share the results. Okay, so 50% have rated us that our audio and video quality is excellent, and 30 very good. So we will try to improvise more, because few have said that it is not that great also. Now the second question was GPA requirement for our undergraduate program. So 40% of the people, they mentioned it is 2.5. So that's fine. Now, if we talk about our third question, that is scholarship. So we are offering up to $14,000 of scholarship for our undergraduate programs. So thank you everybody for this. And I think we need to give answers on the undergraduate admission requirement, if possible, Ashley. And we'll be closing off the polls now.
Yes, so the undergraduates, the undergraduate minimum GPA requirement is 2.3.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. All right, thank you, Priyanka. Thanks, everybody. So just a few housekeeping things that I want to touch on. When students are applying, they're going to be uploading their transcripts. So for secondary ed, that's, grade 10 and 10+2 certificates. For higher ed, that's going to be semester by semester individual mark sheets and degree certificates. And, we are, for the most part, we're looking for, 3 or less backlogs for the most part. So with transcript requirements, they can upload with unofficial copies. That's totally fine. They can upload unofficial test scores for English proficiency, unofficial transcripts for their application. It's only after they're admitted that we would ask them to provide official test scores and official transcripts from the awarding institutions. And then, of course, in a situation, if an official transcript can't be obtained, that's when we will recommend the student would get a course-by-course evaluation from World Education Services. I know one question that might come up, would be 3-year degree requirements. So we do have our criteria here for what we would consider to equate to a full U.S. bachelor's degree. So, being awarded by the University of Delhi or a university accredited by the NAAC, earned in class division 1 and 2. Any other 3-year degrees, unfortunately, that fall outside of those criteria would equate to 3 years of undergraduate study, but not the full bachelor's degree. So at this time then, that's kind of everything that I wanted to highlight in this webinar. So before, we break into Q&A, again, I just want to say, again, a huge thank you to you guys for coming and attending today and joining us. And another huge thank you to our partners at MSM for co-hosting this e-summit with us.
Most welcome, Ashley, and it's like thank you to you for participating in this. And now let's address the questions and answers, and we have a lot of questions which has come up. So first question, which most of the people they do ask is about OPT. So what is OPT and how many years of OPT can a student get if an undergraduate student or a postgraduate student?
So OPT is a work authorization benefit that is offered to F1 students at the end of their program. It would be a 12-month work authorization benefit, where students can work for 12 months. However, if you are a STEM designated major, you can extend that up to 24 months. So that's the draw with having, a STEM designated major.
And as we know that COVID-19 is going on. So the question has come up, which was most likely to come up also. So considering the COVID-19 situation, is the university going to offer programs online or classes online?
Yeah, so as we touched on, it's a great question. So students who are in the College of Arts and Sciences and the College of Business, those undergraduate programs absolutely can start online. And then, we touched on the Masters of Computer Science and the Masters of Information Systems, how those can have an online start as well. Our university leaders are working really hard with our faculty and, keeping in mind the situation of our international students and what particular unique needs that they have. So any other updates with other programs are going to be released as we have them. But as of right now, the most I can say about fall 2020, in the event that we have to start online, undergraduates in the College of Arts and Sciences, undergraduates in the College of Business, and master's students in computer science and information systems can start online.
That's a great opportunity for our students to continue their studies with UMSL. Now, another question is about housing. So what are the different kind of housing options available and the average cost of it?
Yeah, so we do have several different housing options. So we're going to have some on-campus housing options that are going to be dorm style versus apartment style. And, if students just go to UMSL Residential Life Services, that's always nice because we have our residency officers who can talk to them about what kind of housing situation might suit them the best based on, their lifestyle, sort of what they might be used to, what might be best suited for them. So, price, of course, is going to vary. So that's something that I'm actually looking on our website right now because that's going to be all information online. I think for the most part, they're all going to be Dorm style is not going to be, the dorm styles are going to be categorized in the similar price categories as the apartment style. So I'm looking right now. So a 9-month contract for, say, a room in Villa North Hall would be like $4,750. So that's kind of, you know, a ballpark kind of thing.
Thank you for that, Ashley. Now, somebody has asked that what are the different kind of STEM programs are we offering at a graduate level?
Yeah, so at the graduate level, we do have quite a few different opportunities in STEM, you know, science, technology, engineering, medicine. So, you know, we would have biochem, biotech, biology, chemistry. We would have computer science, we'd have cybersecurity, economics, information systems and technology, to name a few.
Oh, great. So I think very rare institutions will find economics as a STEM program. So we have got that STEM accreditation for our economics, Masters in Economics program. Another question is about MBA. So does our MBA is also STEM accredited?
MBA is not a STEM designated major. However, for fall 2020, that is something that where a GRE GMAT is not going to be required for fall 2020. That's been waived to ease students, you know, being affected by COVID-19.
This is actually a very good step which has been taken by the university, because most of the GRE and GMAT centers are not open right now and students are not able to appear for the exams. So thank you for that. Thank you for taking this initiative for our students. Now, another question is about Duolingo, which is again a very important step which has been taken by the university. So can you please tell me about Duolingo test? Like, what is the requirement for undergraduate level, the scores required for undergraduate level, and the scores required for the graduate level for Duolingo English test?
Right. So Duolingo, you know, it's going to be a test that you can take from the comfort of your home. There's no testing center. It takes about an hour is what I've been told. And so once you're done with that, you know, when you're filling it all out, you can say who you want your score sent to. So it would come to, you know, our admissions email, and that's how we, you know, we get an alert that so-and-so has completed their Duolingo test and is inviting you to see their scores. That's how we can see. And, you know, the recommended minimum for graduates is going to be 105, 110. For undergraduates, the minimum is 85, 90.
Thank you for that. And another question is about teaching assistantship. Like, what all different kind of teaching assistantship options are available with the university? And if yes, then what is the GRE requirement, the minimum GRE requirement for the same?
So recommended minimum for graduate, you know, GRE is going to be 152 qualitative, 152 quantitative, you know, but that's for admission. So to be competitive for an assistantship, you know, you'd want to be, you know, probably, you know, the higher percentiles, you know, so that's always something to think of when you're thinking of assistantships. Primarily, those tend to go to PhD positions. You know, but there is absolutely possibility, you know, for master's students at that level as well. All of that whole process, you know, asking about you know, assistantships and all that starts with the student reaching out to the graduate program director. And once you start there, that's when the professor is going to walk you through the admissions process. It's a separate admissions process or application process. So, you know, you apply for that after being admitted. And then, you know, that's going to be how they're all going to have unique application requirements and score requirements. You know, it's going to be usually uploading a statement of purpose or some sort of resume or CV, something like that. But yeah, so, you know, there is absolutely plenty of opportunity for that. Sometimes they're you know, covering tuition completely and a stipend, or sometimes it's a stipend, or sometimes it's covering tuition. They're all different, really, so it just depends.
Okay, thank you for that, Ashley. And another question is again related to COVID-19. So considering COVID-19, so do you think that the university is going to extend the intake maybe after maybe not August, September, and till what time they can apply? What is the deadlines? Are you going to extend the deadlines also?
So the application deadlines for fall. So we haven't made any formal like change, but you know, those application deadlines aren't totally solid, like set in stone. You know, if we do get students who are applying maybe a week or so after, you know, we're still gonna look at them. You know, it's not, and we are very aware that this situation has kind of put a wrench in a lot of people's plans and getting things sorted and done in time. So of course we are sensitive to those situations and will respond accordingly.
Thank you, Ashley. And any plan for extension of the intake, maybe if not starting of August, maybe September, anything of that sort in plan?
So that would be something that our university leaders are still in discussion about. So I wouldn't be able to have an update for that just yet.
Now, another question is that, do you accept our 3 years of bachelor's degree, like 15 years of education for the master's program, all the master's program?
So yeah, we do accept some 3-year degrees. You know, we were saying that there are 2 criteria that need to be met for a 3-year degree to equate 4 years, you know, to equate the US bachelor's. So, you know, that's going to be either awarded by the University of Delhi or a university accredited by the NAAC and awarded in division class 1 or 2. Unfortunately, if it doesn't meet those requirements, then it's only going to count as 3 years of a US bachelor's degree, not the whole thing.
Okay, so now we'll take our last question because we have been getting a lot of questions. So we'll take the last question for now, which is like, can you explain about the application process again, and so that we can submit the applications?
Yeah, so, you know, it's an online application, and so the student would, you and the student, you know, if that's how you do it too, it could be completing it online together, and you would be using, if it's a graduate one, you would be using the, there's always like a little link on the program homepages that shows you what application materials are required for a particular master's degree, like if there's 2 or 3 letters of recommendation, or if you need a statement of purpose, or if you don't need a statement of purpose, if you need the GRE, or if you don't need the GRE, that's all going to be online. And so then you would upload those materials to the application, you click submit, and then having the application ID number at the end, that's what would go to our UMSL MSM representative. And then from there, you know, that's how we would know to go in and waive the fee and to start processing the application.
Thank you for that, Ashley. And another option is that if you're facing any concern related to not able to submit the application, or you want to get your application evaluated, then you can very well send it across to me. My contact details, the email ID is mentioned in the chat box. So you can even get in touch with me, because I know that you have got questions in terms of whether the profile is suitable or what is the kind of course which we can offer to the students. So I'm very well available for the same. So thank you, Ashley. Thank you for you taking out this time, and it was a great session.
Well, thank you again so much, Priyanka. You and the rest of our wonderful partners with MSM. As always, such a pleasure. And, you know, thank you so much for facilitating this opportunity. And to all of our guests who attended with us today, again, thank you so much for joining with us. And I hope you're all keeping well and safe and healthy. So thank you again.
Most welcome, Ashley. And I'm sure that most of you have benefited out of this session. We will keep on doing these kind of webinars for your awareness and knowledge about University of Missouri St. Louis. And in the end, I would say it's very important to keep safe. So stay at home and just enjoy yourself with your family. Bye-bye.